So it's quite common to see Wing Chun students standing opposite bridge. As I said earlier, the idea behind this is because it allows a student to symbolize a punch. If someone's punched and they created a fist position, this is very often a point of contact that will be. However, this is one of many points of contact in a real fight, as I've already showed you earlier. So if we start with this position, it's a strong position for both of us because we keep the rear hand, which is often the easiest hand to lock and strike and trap with, in a safer rear position. One of the things a Wing Chun student or you training at home Wing Chun is you don't want easy access to the rear hand, as we're going to talk about a little bit later in the DVD, how we get the rear hand. One of the things you want to do is to be able to sit back, keep the rear hand back, and make it awkward for him, if anything, dangerous for him to reach across and try to get it. In doing so, we sit back, we keep our hands forward, we keep our strong stance, and we often stand at a slight angle. So one of the things you don't want to stand is square on. Again, most of these points were in our first DVD, Pure and Simple, but I'm just recapping some of them so it'll give you a little bit of an insight on where we go from there to take it a stage further. So we stand at a slight angle, not too much of an angle, because if you do, he punches through. This is a common mistake a lot of my own students make, where they move back and create too much of an angle, and obviously the other allows easy access to the other punch. So opposite hands, slight angle, making sure, as I said earlier, you make contact with the wrist and you're pressing forward. Always think of this long bridge, this mun sao, as a bu. So I'm probing. I'm throwing the hand forward because I'm probing. I'm trying to interrogate, if you like, their center line. So with my hand forward, my bridges don't always have to be opposites. They can be mirrored. I don't have to use this position here where it's long. I can change to a shorter guard, and what I would often refer to as a mid-range guard. This guard I'm using is Chun. The idea is that usually if someone's quite strong and I feel a slight bit of pressure coming in, I move my leg out. As I move my leg out, I replace with a rear guard. This case it's Chun. Obviously I keep my rear guard hand up, but I sit in a side stance. That's quite important, because the side stance allows me to bear weight from the rear hip. As I bear weight from the rear hip, I sit down. So the pressure, if Matt pushes up, is slightly bearing down his arm from the rear hip position. Now this is slightly different from a Chun, where I move in. Okay, so I could be in this position, a side position, and I move in, and I pull the elbow. Just from Sun Tao, second section, where you hit and you drive forward. Well, I move forward, and I place the weight over the front leg, but most importantly, I keep the elbow in and I bear forward towards the center line. So those are two aspects of Chun so far. One, if he pushes out, I use Chun to cover, relieve pressure off my arm. The other, if he, from this position, okay, is staying strong, I bear the arm down and keep it down. And lastly, if he changes his bridge, okay, I can also use an upright jump from the first section of the first form. Now from this position, we'll go back to the pressures again, because this is quite intricate in terms of how I respond to what I feel. As I said, if I feel him pushing into me, I can respond with Chun. If he changes his bridge, I can go to the opposite arm. Now, Matt is on the opposite arm and opposite leg. For him, this is the worst position ever that he can be in, because if I press from this position, it will break his balance. It breaks his balance because as I push on the arm, there's no prop or a third leg to keep him forward. In an ideal world, he needs this opposite leg, so as pressure comes in, to prop and keep him forward. One of the ideas of Gorsao when we're moving is try to capitalize on someone's weak movement, their weak structure. So, for example, if Matt simply throws his rear guard hand forward without changing his leg, very often we'll move in with a park, okay, we'll move in with a bridge and try to break the weak structure that he moves. So it's imperative that a Wing Chun student, especially when practicing Gorsao, learns to change his leg, learns to circle and create good hand-leg coordination between the two. Otherwise, he's going to likely to get caught in a bad position, and as I've already mentioned, the structure's weak. If someone presses, they're likely to crush and break that position. So the bridges, in terms of length, shape, and angle, are often reliant on the way that my partner moves, not on any preconception from me.